Okay, welcome everybody. I am Brandy Walker, Sapphire Ambassador, and we just wanted to have this informal teacher talk call because we have a lot of teacher friends that maybe have thought about doing this business, but maybe they don't think that they have the time or maybe the network, or just just don't think they could do this. But what we'd like to do tonight is we have 5 teachers that have joined us. We have actually a ton of teachers on our team, but we have five people that have agreed to speak to us tonight that have been very successful in this business, and some have been able to actually retire from their jobs. Some are still working full time, and I'm sorry, there's an airplane going over, so you guys hear me okay? Give it just a second. That's the only bad thing about living close to an Air Force base and doing calls outside at night. But we're in Florida, so I love it out here. I can still see it. It's really slow. So anyway, with Plexus, we have an amazing compensation plan. You can win tons and tons of prizes. Most people can start out either making enough to just get their products paid for. We have many people that do that. They just get a few friends to join them, and it does not take very much to actually just get your products paid for. I don't think I've ever paid for my products out of my pocket since I started, and I started 3 years ago. Like I said, I'm a Sapphire Ambassador, and that means that I'm one rank away from being at the very top of the company. And when you get to be what we call a jewel in our company, which is Emerald, it's one rank below me, it's the 3rd highest rank in the company, you earn a free Lexus. So anybody that's a jewel in our company drives a Lexus, and you also earn a trip for 2 to Hawaii, and you share in the Emerald pool or the Sapphire pool or the Diamond pool, which is it's a very nice bonus every single month. And generally speaking, as an Emerald Ambassador, you're earning about $10,000 a month, which is amazing, and then it goes up from there. So it's an amazing compensation plan. Lots of people work this just in the nooks and crannies of their day, and a lot of these teachers are going to tell you how they do that. So first up, we have brand new Ruby Ambassador, Casey Barksdale, and Casey is super special to me because she's not only an ambassador on my team, but she's also my cousin by marriage. Her husband and my husband are first cousins, so we've known each other a very long time. And Casey is a mom of 2, very, very busy mom of 2, and she also helps her husband with his other business. And she was able to just recently retire from her teaching job, so I'm going to let her just take it from there.
Hi, I'm Casey Barksdale, like Brandy said, and I was able to resign from the education world in January, and honestly, my Plexus business was taking a nosedive. I'm also outside, so now the dogs are barking, and just different things lined up in our life, and I just really felt like it was a great opportunity for me to spend more time into really making this be a business. And from January to May, that's exactly what I did. And I was able to rank to Ruby in May. I was telling Brandy the other day, the thing that's crazy about it for me is I have a master's degree in education, and I was on a 10-month contract. Most teachers are on a 9-month contract. So when you're on a 10-month contract, you have extra, you're paid extra. So with that under consideration, my Plexus paycheck last month was $100 less than what my teacher paycheck typically was. And that is when you understand, even as a new Ruby ambassador, that the compensation plan is really it can be life-changing for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. And Casey, if you don't mind, just tell us real quick, just a little bit about your health testimony, because your health testimony is incredible, and that's what led you to the business.
Yeah. Well, I was diagnosed in March of my years kind of run together. I think it was about 3 years ago with rheumatoid arthritis. And I got a phone call from the doctor. I won't ever forget it because we were at one of my son's baseball games. We were out of town, and the doctor called, and he was real sympathetic when he called, and he said, I really hate to give you this diagnosis because you're so young, but I really want to prepare you. He said, you are a double positive, which means you have the most degenerative form of rheumatoid arthritis. And he said, this is a death sentence. And he said, you need to be prepared. He said, most people in your case, they are on disability and divorced within 10 years. So he, referred me to this rheumatologist. Jonathan and I both went, where our head was kind of, spiraling with everything we kept hearing was just, so gloom and doom. And when you think rheumatoid arthritis, you don't ever want to take away from someone who receives like a cancer diagnosis, but the way they were treating it was similar. And they're like, there is no cure. This is your life from now on. So we went to the rheumatologist, and, it was this cancer drug that they wanted me to take, all the side effects that went along with that. And we just needed to step back, and we started researching alternative, holistic healthcare options. And we found a doctor in Chattanooga, and this was in July. So July 3 years ago. And she gave me a list of supplements that she wanted me to take. And I wish I had kept that list. But when I started researching that list, that was about the same time that you were posting on Facebook. And it was magnesium, there was chromium, a turmeric, a probiotic. And there were a lot of things that when she wanted me to buy each of these items individually, then I started seeing Brandy's posts and realizing that these same supplements were in the Plexus products. Mm-hmm. And that's where I started. And it has been up and down. But the last 2 years have been mainly up. I mean, every day I am, I'm better, I'm stronger, I'm healthier. I mean, it is a disease. And so there are moments where you're reminded that you do have a disease, but I am trending towards remission, and I'm weaning off the prescription. I did end up having to go on a prescription a couple years, 2 years ago in August, because I lost the use of my legs. So I had to do something to kind of fight that. So that was, at that point, you take the prescription. But with the supplements, I'm able to come out of things way faster than what I was able to before. Had zero side effects of any of the medicine, and that is because of my gut health. And my rheumatologist has just asked me to participate in a clinical trial, because I should not be as healthy as I am. And they want to study because they don't understand it, which I understand. It's the supplements and the gut health. But, they just want documentation, I guess, of it.
Right. That's incredible, Casey. I get chills every time I hear this story, because when you approached me, I had no idea that you had rheumatoid arthritis. And just know everything that you've been through since then is just incredible. But the fact that it, also, I mean, it's changed your health, and it's also changed your family's future financially. You're able to stay at home now, and being able to work on your health is incredible. So,
yeah, I mean, every day my focus is my health. That doctor that I met 2 years ago in August, he was a research doctor for rheumatoid arthritis. And, he looked at Jonathan and I both, and he said, this is, from now on, your health is your number one priority. And that's when things really changed for us. And it's funny because I can see it in pictures of my family. My kids are athletes. Jonathan's always been athletic. But their looks have changed. The inflammation, you don't even think that they had inflammation until you see kind of how they looked 2 years ago to how they look now. And you can really see that everybody's look is changing
Right.
for the good.
Yeah, they're beautiful kids too, I have to say. Even though I can hardly see you. You're in the dark now.
It's getting dark out here. I'll go back in the house.
That's no
I felt like it was dark in the house.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Casey. I know that you're there with part of your team, and so I really appreciate you getting on tonight. Okay, so next up we have Senior Ruby Ambassador Kay Nowacek. She lives in Michigan, and she has been a full-time teacher this whole time that she's been with Plexus. Has it been 2 years, Kay?
Yeah, 2 years, 2.5 years.
2.5 years, and she's a busy mom of 5?
4.
I'm sorry. I don't know why I wanted to put an extra kid in there, but
I don't need them.
yeah, she's super busy. She's a Harley chick like me. Her and her husband like to ride Harleys, and she's one of my dear friends, and she is going to tell you just a little bit about her story because it is pretty amazing.
Yeah, thanks, Brandy. I started taking Plexus in October of 2015. And just really quick, my health testimony is that for probably a year and a half to 2 years before that, I was in and out of many different doctor's offices, many different tests, trying to figure out why I was getting three or more headache migraines every week. And they got to the point where migraines would be I couldn't see. They tried figuring out why I was getting the medicine, and it got to the point where I was just miserable. I was going to work many times, not even being able to make it through the day, then basically coming home and crashing on the couch. And like Brandy said, I have 4 kids. 3 of them were at home at that time. Chelsea was off at college. And I was just desperate. And I actually remember I was sitting at the kitchen table, home sick from work again. And I was on one computer and my husband was on the other because Tina had just posted on Facebook about Plexus. And I had done some research about some supplements that may help. And Plexus seemed to have those things that might help me. So I have to say I was pretty skeptical, but I decided to give it a shot because at that point I was so desperate. I had gained 15 pounds in 2 weeks just due to the new medication they gave me, and I was still sick. So I joined Plexus and I did not join at all for thinking this was a business at all. I just wanted to feel better. But the sharing just kind of came naturally because within the first month or 2 of taking the product, my headaches were coming less frequently. All of that swelling and inflammation from the medication was starting to go down. And all of a sudden people at school were asking me, what in the heck is going on? What are you doing? What are you trying? What are you taking? Because something's different. I just was less stressed. I had energy. I was happier. All of those things that were noticeable to everybody else, but other than a few less headaches, weren't quite as noticeable to me. But I decided that at that point, since people were asking me what was going on, that I needed to start sharing. So I thought I would just get my products covered. And that's kind of where it just all started. I thought, okay, I just need to get my products covered. But as Brandy said earlier, it fits in the nooks and crannies of your life. I was teaching middle school full-time, had cheer mom, so was constantly on the stand, in the stands for cheer competitions and football games. But I found that I could do all of my business while I was also being mom. When I was waiting for pickups, I would get on my phone. When actually in October or the fall of 2016, I actually helped coach the JV cheer team. And that's when my business grew the most, actually, because I was so busy that I had to be very intentional about when I was going to work. And every week I would look, Sunday nights I would sit down and I would schedule all my posts for Plexus the entire week on Facebook, schedule everything out using an app. And I would be really intentional about when I could work. And I think it was that first leaders retreat in 2016. I was a gold ambassador. And I came home from that and sat my family down and told them this is something that I really wanted to do, and kind of got them on board of what it would entail for them, because they were going to have to pick up a little bit of the slack around the house when it came to things like that. But my family was completely on board. They saw such a change in my health that I think they were willing to do anything to help me out. So I kind of got a little more serious about the business, and I never imagined I'd be able to quit working from teaching, but in March, I took a leave of absence from teaching. My dad has been sick. Sorry. My dad has been sick. So I've been traveling to see him. And I wouldn't be able to do that without my Plexus paycheck. So let me take a minute. I hate it when I get like this.
Fine. I mean, it's amazing.
It is amazing. My May Plexus paycheck was more than my teaching salary was. So I've been able to retire early, 21 years of teaching, and be here with my family at home and still be able to travel. My dad lives 400 miles away, so I travel often to help him out, and I wouldn't be able to do that without this.
That's amazing. And you truly did work it in the nooks and crannies of your day. 4 children, working full time, your dad, a husband who was traveling during that time. He was not even at home most of the time.
Yeah, my husband was a medevac helicopter pilot, so at that time he was living out of town every other week. So I was basically a single mom every other week, teaching, coaching, working Plexus and whenever I could. And I also have an amazing team, an amazing local team.
Right.
It helps too, because they're very supportive.
Yeah. And you guys get together a lot, but you guys work in a business literally from your cell phone. I rarely even get on my computer. The most of the time I get on my computer to do these calls, and that's pretty much it. So
and I do think like being a teacher helps me as far as my organization with traveling so much. When I do travel to my dad's, until recently he didn't even have Wi-Fi, so I couldn't even use my phone a lot of times. And I take it on the go. Like I print out my spreadsheet so I can watch my points, and everything goes in my calendar, and you just make it work.
I will say I'm not a teacher at all. I don't think that counts. But some of the most successful people on my team are teachers. And I think it is definitely because you guys are so organized. And I mean, you're taught these skills in college and you use them, in your everyday life. So it just kind of comes naturally to you. And I think you guys just blow this business up. I mean, it is just, we've got a whole bunch of teams of teachers on this team. So it was incredible. Thank you so much, Kay.
Thanks.
Okay, our next person is Kelly Foster. She is a Ruby ambassador, soon to be senior Ruby, and she is also a Over Yonder K trip winner. And I didn't even know what Over Yonder K was until we went to convention 2 weeks ago. Her name got drawn. She was one of the top business builders in our company, so her name went in a drawing, and her name was pulled, and so she gets to go on this incredible trip to Over Yonder K. It's a private island, and they picked 10 people total to go on this trip, and I don't think there'll be anybody else on the island except people that will be waiting on them hand and foot, and they'll just get to just enjoy life for, how many days is it, Kelly? I can't hear you.
It's 6 days, 5 nights.
6 days, 5 nights, completely paid for. They'll fly over to the Bahamas first. You'll have to correct me if I'm wrong. Bahamas first, you get to spend the night there, and then they take you on a little teeny tiny plane over to Over Yonder K, and just get to be treated like kings and queens. And her husband gets to go with her, and we're all just super excited. We can't wait to see all the pictures. So we're super proud of her. She's a rock star on our team. Also a teacher, and she's a mom of three kids. Okay, this is like a test to me. 4 kids. I should know this. And she's super, super busy, just like all the other teachers on this team. She does still work full time, and I'll let you tell the rest of it, Kelly, how you work it.
All right. So really quickly, a little bit about my my journey. Um, so I have been, for the bulk of my adult life, have been a vigorous exercise, health and fitness person. That's been my kind of my thing and my endeavor. And when I first heard about Plexus, I really just thought, what does Plexus have to offer me that I don't already know? And that was pretty much my position. And I was skeptical, like pretty much, a lot of people are. And the thing is that during that time, I was really struggling to maintain my rigorous workout. What had been my routine. And true story, during the time that I first really started listening, I was struggling to maintain my run. My knees had gotten just old on me, were giving up on me, and I knew that my mental health and my quality of life were dependent on my ability to maintain my exercise routine, and I was losing that. So during that time, I kind of was just praying, and I didn't even know what I was praying for. I was literally praying for my knees to hold out, and I was completely dependent on ibuprofen. I would take easily 600 milligrams just to fall asleep each night, and another each day before I went to the gym to be able to get through my workout. And so, when my dear friend Lisa reached out to me about Plexus, I just kind of decided at that point, I am going to try it. Like, why would I not try it? And if it works for me, and I really wasn't even thinking that, my joint pain would be alleviated, but I was really just, I value my health, I value my wellness, and I am completely willing to invest in myself. Yeah, if that's going to contribute to my health. And so I decided if it works for me, it works for me. If it doesn't, it doesn't. No harm, no foul. And within a week, I realized that I no longer was getting out of bed to take ibuprofen. And within like a couple of weeks, I was back in the gym better and stronger than ever. And literally crying, because I was in shock over the fact that my knees were strong and were sustaining my workouts. And that, I mean, it kind of sounds silly maybe, but for me, it was my everything. And so kind of my whole health turned around at that point. And I just kind of thought, you know, I'm not a salesperson at all. I didn't go into this thinking that I would sell anything. And I even articulated the fact that, I'm not going to BS my friends. I'm not going to sell them anything. And so this is going to either happen for me organically or it's not going to. And I was perfectly okay with that. And as time went by, I started feeling stronger and stronger. And, my energy was rebounding, and my mood was greatly improved. You heard Brandy say I have 4 children. That's a lot of work, and that's a lot of mom, and so you work all day long as a teacher, and then you come home and you're always in demand, and that was exhausting and daunting and stressful. And I'm not gonna lie, like there were plenty of days that I came home from work and I just went in my bedroom and shut my door, and I was like, okay, I'm done. And I did not feel like I was being the best mom that I could be. And I did not feel like I was being the best teacher that I could be, the best wife, the best friend. And, I knew that about myself. And I spent a lot of time in prayer. And I honestly believe that, and well, I know, Brandy didn't tell you about like my background as a science teacher. I did delve into the science behind these products. I did delve into, well, how are they working for me and why are they working for me, so that I felt qualified to, to speak to that with my friends. And so for me, my health has turned around completely. And that is why, I decided that it would be selfish of me to not tell my friends about it. And so that's what I did. I did fit it into the nooks and crannies of my life originally. And now, as a teacher, we're in Michigan, we are amongst the highest paid teachers in the United States. And that's not saying a lot, really. I mean, it's saying a lot for teachers, but I'll tell you this, in a year and a half, for me, working this business, I am more than making half of my teacher income, 3/4 of my teacher income. And I have two boys who are in college and, trying to be in college. And, girls are expensive too. And so, it has supplemented my income very nicely to the point where I'm not, kind of struggling each paycheck. Like, how am I going to pay my bills? And it has supplemented my income very, very, very nicely. And, at this point, this is my retirement plan. I told Kay the other day, I know that Kay retired, and my hands up. I love my job. I love my teaching profession, and I'm proud of it. But I know that this business is going to more than supplement that income and surpass that income. And I'm ready for the next chapter of my life. And, being a mom and being able to travel a little bit and, be able to take a lot of that burden off of my husband. It's doable, and it's like in the palm of my hand. I see, it's right on the horizon for me. And so, I'm excited about it.
I just got chills when you said that, because I know it's just right there. You're going to be Senior Ruby soon, and you're getting to go on this amazing trip that we're all going to be stalking you on Facebook and Instagram. So we're so excited about that. And I don't know. I've just loved watching your whole story, just watching you, just start this, and it changed your health and it changed your family, and just like all of us. I mean, it's just, and just to be able to work it in the middle of all that you have going on is pretty amazing. It's not something you have to literally work all day long. I mean,
right.
A little bit in the morning, a little bit at night, a little bit maybe on your lunch break or something. And I mean, to have a full-time income is incredible. So thank you so much, Kelly.
Yeah.
And you guys are leaving Saturday, right?
Yep.
Y'all have a blast.
Thanks.
Okay, so next up we have Emerald Ambassador Lisa Hudson. And I don't know if you guys remember me talking a few minutes ago about Lisa, or about being an Emerald Ambassador. She has reached dual level in our company. She will earn a Plexus Lexus, and she's going to be in Hawaii with me and my husband, and Randy Underwood, I think, is on this call as well. We're all going to be, there's another plane, y'all, I'm sorry.
I can't hear it.
Okay. Okay. So anyway, she's going to be in Hawaii with us in September. We get to go on an amazing trip. We've all been booking our flights and getting our hotel rooms squared away. So we're super excited about that. And she will earn about an average of 5 digits a month. So about an average of $10,000 a month. So it's a pretty sweet deal. And Lisa still works full time. She is a police officer's wife, and she has 2 kids. One's a senior, and one is a competitive cheerleader. So she's literally, if she's not at school, she's traveling or going to hockey games, or she makes my head spin. And we talk or chat pretty much every morning about 5 or 5:30, every since the day you joined. So I don't see how she does everything she does, but again, she uses her teacher skills. So I'm going to let her tell you about that.
Hi, thank you. So yes, just like everybody else on here, busy mom. Luckily, one of my kids drives, so that took some pressure off this year with him with hockey and football. But I want to talk like a little bit more about why teachers are successful in this business. And I honestly think it's because people trust us. People trust their teachers, and we're usually, for the most part, pretty down to earth and kind of matter of fact kind of people. We know what we know. We know that we believe in certain things. And I think that teachers have kind of a demeanor about them when they are explaining things to people. And I feel like that has helped me a lot in the business. And I even, like, before I even started teaching, I was working for a marketing company. It was actually M&M Mars, you can believe that. Like stocking gas stations and putting up promotions and stuff. And my manager there tried to get me to work for the company. He was like, teachers make the best salespeople. I really want you. You could be so good at this. And of course I was, 21 and no, I want to be a teacher. So here I am. But he was right. I don't consider myself a salesperson. But I just know what I believe, and I know what I've seen on this journey. My health testimony isn't as like spectacular as some people's. I really started it to like feel better, that like maybe I'll lose 5 pounds and just have more energy. And it ended up helping with my skin, which I had no idea that it was going to help with my rosacea or my acne. My rosacea is virtually gone. I don't battle that every single night like I used to. But the amount of health testimonies of the people on my team, and what I've seen happen to people that I personally know because of these products, their health testimonies are what I share more with people than my own. So you don't have to have like some amazing, spectacular health testimony, because there's so many people on this team underneath Brandy and this whole team underneath Julia that have the most amazing health testimonies, and they're people that we personally know. So we have those to share. And in the teaching day, I think when you're a teacher, you obviously have to be very careful in your teaching day. My school district isn't quite as strict with, using our computer for certain things or posting during certain time of the days. I know there's people on this team that have gotten in trouble, not on my team, but gotten in trouble if one of their posts during the school day. The majority of teachers on my team work in 2 or 3 neighboring districts, and our districts haven't been very strict about that. So we've been lucky with that. We can work Plexus on our lunch hour. We can work Plexus when our kids are, I do when my kids are at music or art or PE, because you get everything that you need to get done in your day and sometimes after your day. So I figure if I'm working my Plexus business for 10 minutes while my kids are at PE and I'm bringing home papers to check, it's kind of a, give and take situation. You just make it work. I do get up during the school day at 5 a.m. every single day and work my Plexus business during that time. So I'll be messaging people and texting people. I don't expect to get an answer except from Brandy because she's awake, and Randy, who's not in bed yet because she's on the other side of the earth. But people message me when they get up. So I'll message people at 5 a.m. and they'll answer me at 8. And that's totally fine, especially when it's customers or people that I'm checking on or something like that. But the other thing is too, like you have to kind of like, when you get to the point where you have a big team, if it's something that you really want to do when you grow your business, you do have to give up a little bit. I was on 4 like pretty major committees at school that were leadership positions. And this year I gave up 2 of them. So I'm still doing 2 of them, and I gave up 2 of them because I just didn't feel like I could be that person anymore. And it just wasn't fair, to the other people on the committee that I was with. So you can have it all, but you can't, you can't do an amazing job at every single thing. But like I said, I'm still on 2 of those leadership committees. So you just have to kind of figure out what works right for you in your teaching job, and how you can fit it into your day. But you can definitely fit it into your day. Like I work my business sitting in the bleachers at a hockey game, sitting in the parking lot at cheer carpool. I've actually been on a call in the parking lot at cheer before. I message people in between every, it's 24 hours a day working the business, but it's not all of those 24 hours. It's 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, bits and pieces. I try to answer messages as fast as I can. But I guess I'm just the one that's here to say, like, you can do it. If your kids, you know, you can work full time, you can have 2 busy kids and a husband, and you can still do it, because I did it. So I'm kind of proof that you can. And the organization part, I don't know. Brandy might think I'm more organized than I am. I'm a list maker, but I'm not like Kay. I don't sit down on Sunday and plan my week, but I also don't teach like that. That's just kind of my personality. I kind of scratch pencil stuff in, but I teach on a day-to-day basis, and I kind of work my plexus on a day-to-day basis too. I don't know if that's the right thing to do, but it obviously is what works for me. So
that's what works for me too.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not a teacher. I don't have all those organizational skills. I try to take lessons from you guys all the time because it's pretty amazing to me. And I don't work another job, so I have no excuse. But anyway, I just think it's pretty amazing that you guys do have these skills, and every teacher pretty much that joins our team blows it up. All the way up. My upline is Julia Carty, and she's in the top 7 of the entire company and has been for the whole 3 years that I've been on her team. And she has a whole bunch of teachers on her team too, and it's the same thing. You guys have just a very particular set of skills that most people don't have. So it really comes very handy. And I know that Lisa will eventually retire from her business. From her teaching job. Sorry, there's bugs out here, but you love it right now, and I know you'll continue to do it as long as you can. But I know, sorry, there's a bug like on the screen. But anyway, okay, thanks, Lisa. And next up, we have Gold Ambassador Caroline Myers. Caroline is she's gorgeous. She's very in person, and she's actually totally hot. She's gorgeous, and she's married to okay, I think that's a little better. And she's also that's here. I don't know.
There's like some weird static. It's like almost like what's the word I want? It sounds like there's a radio on or something.
Yeah. Let's see. Here it is. That sounds better. Yes, much better. Okay. Okay. So Caroline is also I hope I get this right, but she represented the U.S. on the World Championship team as a swimmer, and she's also been in several Olympic trials. Is that correct? Did I get that right, Caroline? Yes. She's also just did a triathlon with her husband. Like, I'm just in awe at everything this woman does. She's funny. But she's got 2 young kids, and she and her husband both work this business, and she works in the nooks and crannies of her day. So I'm just going to let her tell you about that and how she does it. I can't hear you. Let's see.
Can you hear me now? How about now?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I was saying, wow, what an introduction. Thank you so much. Very kind of you. So my name is Caroline. As Brandy just said, I am a Gold Ambassador. I've actually been an educator for 12 years. I don't currently work in the classroom. I actually work in the district central office. I'm in charge of helping first-generation college students earn college credit up to an associate's degree. So I really, really love what I do. Prior to this, I worked for the Gates Foundation as an instructional coach with teachers. And then I spent time as a high school swim coach, and also as a high school world history teacher. So this is ending my 12th year in education. I'm actually at a conference now in Dallas for AVID, which is an education program that we're implementing in our school district. So talk about working at the nooks and crannies. I'm literally outside in the hotel of the conference that I'm at for work on the call right now. Literally like 20 minutes ago, our hotel was just evacuated because there are fire trucks in the front. So I'm like sitting on the curb of the outside of the hotel. So if there's a lot of noise, I'm sorry. I'd rather be out here than up there again. So I just want to give you a little bit of background. I have an 11-month-old son. I have a daughter who just turned 4. And as Brandy said, I was very active growing up. I watched my college best friend, Megan Maloney, who is my upline, use the products for approximately a year before I jumped in. To say I was skeptical was maybe a nice word. I think I probably poked fun a few times, which probably wasn't the nicest thing in the world, but it was just kind of my endearing way of trying to figure out more information with acting like I really wanted to know more information about the product. But I was thinking today as I was sitting in some sessions about what makes, what makes teachers so good at this business, and what makes us natural at sharing these products. And so I started thinking about what are some of the qualities that teachers embed. One of the things that we do really well, I think, is that we study what we're going to present. I mean, we have to know our material before we're going to present it at any level, and which means that you're more inclined to maybe study the products and to learn more about what's in them so that you can share that with other people. We also, I think, have a tendency to present information in multiple modalities to students, to other people, which is really a teacher like lingo way of saying that there are different ways that people learn. Some people are visual learners or auditory learners. Some people have to play or manipulate with something to actually to make it make sense to them. And so I think that that's something that educators already know is with our different levels of students that we have to present information in various ways, just because the way that we learn or the way that we receive information isn't necessarily the way that somebody else does. So I think that we're good at adapting the way we explain things to people based on their learning style. We also collaborate a lot. So whether it's with, professional development or strand meetings or faculty meetings, we tend to have to plan together and collaborate as a team to help our students the best that we possibly can. I know some people said that, we're organized or set goals. We're usually held accountable for things, maybe even to a fault. But I think that one of our best qualities is being able to establish relationships with people and have empathy for others. So with all of those wonderful qualities that teachers embed for the most part, I think that naturally lends itself to Plexus and sharing Plexus, not as a salesperson, but as, utilizing the skills that we practice on a day-to-day basis. I know when I thought about those things, because I was not interested in sharing in the beginning, but I realized that after 4 weeks of having my son, who is 11 months now, I was breastfeeding. As Brandy mentioned, my husband's a football coach. We live in an area of Texas where we have no family, wonderful friends, but no family around. So I was dealing with this. I'm going back to work full time. I have a stressful job. I have 2 kids under 4. I'm breastfeeding. My husband's about to go away to football season, which feels like, for an eternity. And I didn't know if I could do this on my own. So I thought to myself, what do I have to lose? So I went to 3 different health professionals. I got all of my products vetted. And I wanted to make sure that if it was good enough for my baby, then it was good enough for me. And when they all told me that this was something I could have taken when I was pregnant, I immediately thought, okay, well, there goes one of my last outs to try to figure out how I, can get out of maybe not, taking this seriously. But I realized the health benefits were going to be so important. And then I started thinking about the people that I work with. Like, what educators or other people that I work with don't need sustained energy, mental clarity, balanced hormones, or immunity. Like, educators need that more than anybody I can think of, because ain't nobody got time 7th or 8th period to not be on their game, because those kids need you at the end of the day. When you're doing a professional development for teachers, you need to be consistently energetic for them. You can't just slack off at the end of the day because you're tired or run down or whatever the case is. It's not necessarily fair because you're not giving them the best of what you have. Our sick days cannot be used for us being sick because there are kids around. So when your immunity is strong, you can save those sick days for what you really need, which are mental health days. So you can take a day off and go and do something for yourself or save it for your children if you need it. But me getting the flu and being out of school for a week or out of work for a week just was not an option. So I needed something that was going to protect my immunity. And So then my next question was like, well, I don't have time to sell Plexus or to share any of this stuff. But I thought to myself, how can I be creative in this? So one of the things I knew about myself was I was obviously going to be consistent in taking the products. So I just needed to be clever about when I was going to be consistent. So I'm consistently going to mix up my pink drink during a faculty meeting or during a meeting that we're having that we're having a presentation for. I'm consistently going to place my water bottle that says Plexus on it with my pink drink inside of it, facing the audience, so that way they have something to think about and look at, which naturally leads them, without me, pushing it in their face, to ask me, what is that you're drinking, or what are you doing? And so then I respond with the truth. I say, these are gut health and wellness products. It's helped me with blood sugar regulation, inflammation, and gut health. And usually when I explain a little bit about that, or they'll say they've known me for a few years and they can see that my face looks different, or my energy levels are increased, or I just have more energy or talk faster than I normally do, which is really hard. But I get really excited. They're like, what are you doing? What are you on? And I explain to them. They usually listen, and then they respond to me with issues that they have dealt with. And then I actively listen, which educators do very well. We actively listen to what people have to say, and then we respond. So I responded with empathy for what it is that they were dealing with, and just simply asked, would you mind if I share some products that I think that might work for you? And so, I don't feel like I'm selling, then I really feel like I'm sharing, and I'm giving somebody something that they really wanted and asked for. And being consistent using my products, whenever that might be, at lunch when I pull out my X Factor Plus and happen to take it right there in front of 4 people, it just creates and generates conversation without me feeling like I'm not being authentic. So following up with people was easy, I think, simply because it was just like what a teacher does, which is checking for understanding. Do you understand how to take these? Are you sure you get it? Constantly following up. Are you drinking your water? And differentiating how I follow up. So I think some people, wanted follow up in FaceTime. Some people wanted it in voice text or regular text or email. So me learning how to differentiate how to follow up with people was important, because not everybody wants to be followed up with, in my experience, in the same way. So that same differentiation you use in the classroom was relevant to what we're doing here in Plexus. So lastly, I guess I would just say, if you're a teacher or no teachers, I would strongly consider you using the summer as an opportunity to think about sharing the business, because it really feels so good to bless others. And I feel like most of us have empathy, listening skills, a desire to help others, to motivate others to be a better version of themselves. We have dedication. We enjoy relationship building. We pride ourselves on confidentiality, and we advocate for those people who need assistance. And that's exactly what Plexus does. So I feel like Plexus and education really marry very, very well together.
If I was not an ambassador already, I would join just because of what you just said. You guys are seriously amazing. And I just want to thank each of you that spoke tonight. If you're on this call and you're a teacher, or maybe you're an educator in some way, and hopefully something that one of these teachers has said, resonates with you. It's really not that hard, you guys. What we do is not hard at all. It just takes consistency and dedication. Really, just consistency. Being consistent with the business, being consistent with your products, and obviously, if you join as an ambassador, you have a whole upline of people. We have an amazing system in place to teach you how to do exactly what we do. And again, it's very simple. It's just a few simple steps every day, and you just work it in just your regular day. A lot of people, like Kay said, take maybe Sunday afternoons and plan out what you're going to do, and other people just do it day by day, or wing it like I do. So anyway, I just want to thank you guys all for getting on, and I hope this helps. So I will see you guys later. Thanks, guys.